Hello, today we're taking a look at the Steel Path circuit and I'm going to cover some tricks to make it easier. Of course, not everything has been discovered with these circuits yet because they are still really new. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the first tip, obviously, work as a team. Having 4 people gives you access to more frame synergies, more weapons, all that type of stuff. It makes defense easier, excavation easier, and overall it just becomes a lot quicker. So the only thing you can really fail is the defense. So try and put your squad together based around that defense. So to continue on with that, the only mission you can actually fail is the defense objective. So if you have a very bad set of frames and weapons and you get the defense objective for the first one, just abort the mission and go again. And hopefully you'll get something like excavation, extermination, or the void flood mission. Now the void flood you can complete without killing anybody, so it literally doesn't matter. If you get the void flood, just complete the void flood and extract, and that will re-roll all of the frames and weapons you get until you get something actually half decent. Now what you can do is use this to your advantage, and let's say you get Void Flood on the first cycle, do the Void Flood, and on the next one you get Survival. You can complete that one, and you can keep completing these missions pretty much without killing anybody until you get to Defense, and as soon as you see Defense is the next one, just extract straight away so you don't fail. So let me show you real quick how we can re-roll the frames we get without actually doing anything. So I'm going to choose Rhino. And all you're going to do once you've picked your stuff is go through the portal. So we're in the first mission, and as you can see we get Exterminate. Now if my gear was so bad that I actually couldn't kill anything, I wouldn't suggest doing the Exterminate mission. So because my gear is not very good, and I can't actually kill these enemies, I'm just going to abort back to my orbiter. As you can see, we still have the same frames, so we can't just abort to reset. So we actually got the Void Flood this time, and I'm going to show you that you can actually complete this without killing anybody. I do suggest taking the decree fragments because they give you intrinsics, even if you don't plan to continue. Just collecting the decree fragments is good enough. And there you go. So as you can see, I killed no enemies and we get defense on the next one. So we're just going to extract. Now, we don't actually gain any circuit progress for extracting on the first one, but we get a lot more circuit progress if we go on for quite a few waves. So making sure you have a good setup and re-rolling your setup till you can get that far is the best bet. And as you can see, when we go back into the spiral, we have a different setup of frames now, as well as different setup of weapons, and everything is re-rolled. Okay, so now we've figured out how to re-roll gear to whatever we want, let's have a look at what we can do to make that gear stronger. So, once you found a good frame in the circuit that fits your team comp really well, you might not have the best build on it, so what you can do, abort to the orbiter, and just mod that frame from the orbiter. Now, the frames will stay there until either you complete one run and extract, or the cycle changes. So what I'd suggest doing is adding some sort of helmet ability to your frame, depending on what your team comp is going to be. So usually you want 2 or 1 DPS frames, something like a Vault, Sarian, to just clear the map, you know, Octavia maybe. Then you're going to want something like a support or defense related frame. So Cora in this instance would be a defense frame. Limbo, Frost, they can all work really well because they protect the objective. You want to build a team composition around the defense objective because that's the only one you can fail. And I suggest adding helmet abilities to whatever frame that you get for your team composition to support whatever other role there is on the team. So in this situation, I would probably add a buff ability, such as Raw, so that I can help my DPS players achieve a higher DPS. And of course, clearing the waves faster means you have a much quicker end to the run. If someone else on the team already has damage buff abilities, you could either stack them or run something like Dispensary to help maintain energy and ammo. I found Armor Strip to be particularly useful in the longer runs of the Steel Path circuit. Someone like Zaku, who has the Gaze ability, here with 100% Armor Strip is actually extremely useful because enemies that get close or spawn in certain areas can instantly be 100% armor stripped, and it allows just for super easy nuke and clearance, especially if you get an AoE weapon in the circuit. Octavia Prime with her Resonator or just a build based on the Mallet, both are extremely useful as it keeps the enemies just from hitting the target as well as just kills them instantly. Of course, we've already mentioned Cora and her Dome, allowing you to crowd control the enemies. A build on Limbo with a lot of duration allows you to keep the points safe, apart from the Xmas enemies, but of course you can deal with those as a team quite efficiently. Frost is really good. I mean, as much as people hate on Frost, his Dome actually has a brief period of invincibility, and if you keep spamming these, it will forever be invincible. And the list goes on, of course. Lots and lots of frames can be useful in different ways, but if you use this technique to mod them before you go into the circuit, it will make things so much easier. Now, for intrinsics, I really recommend maxing out opportunity. I mean, I know I'm not doing that right now. I'm trying to get this rank 9 to test it with Eidolons, but opportunity is super useful for the whole DUVIRI experience. Gain additional Warframe options, gaining additional weapon choices, and gaining more frame choices are all really, really good. I mean, they stop you from having to reset as much, giving you way easier runs. And if you want a quicker run, you can get the riding rank 4 for fast travel. I don't think the endurance stuff is really that useful, as you can pretty much just run away from the enemies, and most of the time you won't even need this anyway. I haven't really had issues with dying apart from in the Worm fight, but that's because I don't really know what I'm doing. I would suggest maxing out opportunity first, putting some points into riding and some points into combat.